Hello, primary Spanish teachers. I'm excited to record and share with you our second primary Spanish unit preview. If you have any questions that arise throughout this presentation, please jot them down and email them to me. Today we are going to be looking at a first grade unit that I have created for Unit 2. If you look in box 1 over here of the planner, you can see that the transdisciplinary theme, where we are in place and time, is the one that I have picked. The descriptor for this unit: an inquiry into orientation in place and time, personal histories, homes and journeys, the discoveries, explorations, and migrations of humankind, the relationship between and the interconnectedness of individuals and civilizations from local and global perspectives, describes the entire K-5 experience of this unit. The highlighted part, an inquiry into orientation in place and time, personal histories, is the part that my first graders will focus on this year. The central idea that first grade is working on with their classroom teacher is people have personal histories that affect their perspective. I have chosen to collaborate with a classroom teacher, so I have written how we will connect to the central idea in Spanish below the central idea. Everything that I've added is in blue on this, and the red is from the classroom teacher. So I added, in Spanish we will discuss family origins as they relate to our personal histories. Now, let's move down to box 1B. In box 1B, we'll look at the summative assessment tasks. And again, the part that I have added in blue down here, it has to go back and it has to show that we are assessing the central idea, which for the classroom is people have personal histories that affect their perspective. And so the assessment that I have come up with is collaborative again with the classroom teachers. The classroom teachers are working on family trees, and the kids also take these family trees and they work on them in art class. So I decided that I would collaborate by having the kids add information for Spanish class on the same family tree, because that way they're connecting all of our different classes and seeing how they can be connected in that way. So I first have the part about the family tree, and then the second part of that is about personal histories affect their perspectives. So in order to make sure that we circle back around and link to that central idea, I added this portion here. Students will participate in a table group discussion using prompts relating to how their family's culture compares to the culture of other students at their table. And some examples of prompts that could be used will be, who lives in your home? And that could be a great discussion talking about, if we circle back around to the family tree, we've talked about where people are from, where their families are from, and at my school we have lots of different cultures. And so at a table group, it's likely that we'll have kids that are from different countries. But even if you don't have kids from different countries, everybody's family has a different culture. And so it's always interesting to have those discussions, things like who lived in your home. Some families just have one parent, one child, two parents. Some people have grandparents and aunts and uncles and all sorts of things. So it can be a great conversation starter for them. Another one that I put as an example, there are a lot of them, but these are two that I've written. What time do you eat dinner? Because you know from probably your own personal experience that families from different parts of the world eat at different times. And to be able to have that knowledge and connect it back to where people are from is something that's very interesting to be able to do with them. Down here I have a rubric that will be used to assess this assessment. So on my rubric I have written a very simple yes, no, completed or not completed. In the first grade, I feel that is usually the best way to assess, given the limited amount of time that we have together. So I have my rubric going back to things that are in our assessment. The student created a family tree. Student labeled family members in Spanish and described how they are connected. That would be an example of my aunt. Underneath there would be the sister of my mother, or something like that. Family tree includes a description with the following information: how many people in your family and where your family is from, and then the part about participating in the table group discussion with the prompts. I've added a part here for teacher feedback and student next steps on our rubric. That was one of the things that I know that a lot of us needed to work on, was how we showed that we were getting feedback. So I thought this would be a good thing to put on the rubric to help us meet that requirement. Okay, so if we come over here to box 2, there are a lot of different things in this box: the key and related concepts, lines of inquiry, and the provocation. This box should directly reflect the central idea. These key concepts come from Making the PYP Happen, pages 15 to 19. And what I did, again, because I was connecting to the classroom, I wrote mine in blue. So I did not add or change any of these concepts or any of these lines of inquiry. I just showed how I would connect. So for connection, how our family members connected. Family and identity, that's pretty much everything that we're talking about is family and identity. The lines of inquiry that the classroom teachers have chosen are families, relationships of families, and personal histories. And the ways that I'll connect to that are members of a family in Spanish, so that's vocabulary building. Relationships of families, describe how they're related in Spanish, and describe where family members are from. So hopefully you can see how these lines of inquiry connect back to the central idea and how that is related here to this summative assessment that I created, so that we can see that we are in fact checking comprehension and understanding of the central idea. For the teacher provocation, that's what's going to get the kids excited and on board, and I decided that a good way to get the kids excited and to get them started in this topic would be to bring a picture of a famous family for us to discuss. We can talk about which one's the mom, which one's the dad, where's the family from, all kinds of great opportunities from having a picture to talk about. Okay, moving on to box 3. One of the things that I struggled with when I first started trying to create unit planners was this box. It helped me when I was told that this box of what are possible ways of assessing student learning in the context of the lines of inquiry, what evidence will we look for. It helped me a lot to, when someone just told me to copy and paste the lines of inquiry and put them in here so that I can stay focused on what it is that I need to be assessing and what kind of evidence will we look for. That really is another thing that has evolved for me, and I'm sure it will continue to evolve. So if I look at that part, the lines of inquiry, if you remember from the box above, are families, relationships, and personal histories. And so I have written in how we will assess what we're doing, how will we know. So for families, students will discuss family members. The teacher will use these discussions to gauge prior knowledge. So we're just going to be having conversations and talking about things, and I will be able to see if the kids already have the information, what we need to practice, where these are the formative assessment sorts of opportunities that inform our choices as teachers of how much time we spend on things, what we circle back around to, that kind of thing. For relationships, I wrote teacher will use comprehension, check for understandings, and journal entries to check mastery of how family members are related to each other. I envision this being where we take a little bit of class time and they practice writing, filling out sentence stems for my aunt is my mother's sister, or things like that. For personal history, students will point to locations on a map in response to questions about where their family members are from. So as they're gathering that information from home, bringing it back to school, putting it on their paper that will go with their family tree, we can have a classroom discussion where we look for those places on the map. As we move on to box 4, you will see here that these learning experiences, these are the lessons and the activities that we're going to do, also need to align directly with those lines of inquiry that we aligned everything with in box 3 to make sure that everything is consistent throughout. You can look through here. I have some different activities, games, songs, stories, looking for things on the map, creating Pictionaries to learn vocabulary, all sorts of different things that are ways that we can explore the topic that we have. Also in box 4, you'll see the different transdisciplinary skills. These again are things, because I'm collaborating, that they were already written here, and I just showed how we would connect them to our Spanish lessons. You can take a look at these and see if you have any questions. See if you do, you're welcome again to send me an email or send it in. We can talk about it at office hours. I'll just let you look through those. Box 5 is the resources that you're going to need, and I have some examples here. You'll need to gather the songs, any pictures, sentence stem worksheets, the family tree things that you're going to need to use. Anything that if you are looking at this unit you know that you're going to need, you should write that in those notes there on box 5 for you to be able to be prepared. And then using the classroom environment, I know for myself that I have a mixture of native speakers and people who are learning Spanish as their second language or third language. And so utilizing those native speakers to help the students can be a really great opportunity to give them a special place in the classroom. The rest of this unit planner is reflection that comes after you complete, or you can actually start completing it during your unit, but a lot of it is to be completed when you are finished with it, reflecting back on how it went for you. Did you feel like the kids learned what you hoped they would learn? If there were any issues, what they were. This is a place for you to make notes on what you might do differently next time and what went really well, so that when you start it up, if you choose to do it again, you'll be more prepared and able to learn from your experience. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I look forward to doing this next one, and as always, please let me know if you have questions or if there's anything that comes from this that you'd like us to talk about in our upcoming office hours. Have a great day.